What's going on, guys? It's Zach Ramsey here with Wahl Pro. I'm going to be doing a haircut tutorial for you today. What we're going to be creating is a fused haircut between a shag and a crop, working with a curtain fringe through the front, external lengths in the back, and also external lengths through the sideburns. I'm going to show you guys a full comprehensive breakdown on how I section the haircut, how each section plays into one another, and just my overall creative process. Alright guys, so to begin every haircut, what I like to do is section the hair out very cleanly to different panels to how I blueprinted the whole haircut in my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down for you each one of these panels and show you why I did that. Alright guys, so we got our first section in. We're working with a radial parting from the apex of the head down to the top of both ears, leaving us with a panel for the front and a panel for the back. From there, we're working from the radial line forward to the corner of the recession, sectioning out the side panels of the head, leaving us with the top, a back, and two sides to work with.
Starting in the back panel, we're going to make a profile guide going directly down the center part of the head. Combing the excess hair to the side and using a section clip for organization. With this part, you want to have the section just about the width of your finger or a small comb. Using the curve of the head as a reference point, we're going to grab the hair from the top. We're going to see exactly where we want it to fall to, which is just above the curve. Using the curve as our reference, we're going to gain length as we get down towards the bottom of the neck. Once again, pulling the hair out to check to see the length that I want to create, just to be safe. Pulling the hair down, you can see exactly where it wants to fall. Now I'm going to make my first initial cut. As we get to the curve of the head, you're going to notice the hair is actually going to get shorter because the head sticks out. And then as we get below the curve of the head, the lengths start to get longer and I start to over direct my hand outward. This is going to preserve length and allow us to have that long wispy end to the back of the mullet. From there, we're going to work another section running parallel to section 1. We're going to split section 1 in half and bring section 2 and section 1 together. This is going to create a consistent length going all the way across the back panel. Pulling the hair out vertically, checking for my guide, and cutting downward. Once again, as we get to the occipital bone, the hair is going to get nice and tight to the head. And then as we start getting below the bone, we're going to start pulling away. Always checking to see our previous guide to make sure we stay neat, organized, and have a clean cut. And we can start to see now the weight starting to build up off the back of the head, the length, and then it gets a little shorter, and then we can start seeing the lengths down underneath the occipital start to extend outward. What I like to do is comb the hair in between each section to see how everything's laying down and see exactly what we're working with. So once again, we're going to split that section in half, groom away the hair that's already been cut, pull our new section, groom the hair over, clip the hair up, keeping our workspace organized, and sandwiching those two guides together. As we get towards the neckline, we're working with over direction, preserving length. Working around the round shape of the head, I'm moving my body position to the side of the mannequin's head so I can keep the section directly out from in front of me. This is going to give me consistent cutting, keep all of my weight and balance correct for both sides of the head. Again, as we're getting down lower to the head, we're pulling the hair away, as you can see, creating longer lengths. making sure the hair is thoroughly wet. We're going to go through and we're going to repeat the same process on this side that we did on the other side. Checking our guide and cutting vertically. Now we're done with the back panel of the head, we can move on to the side, releasing our section clip. We're going to be working in vertical diagonal sections, working towards the front. We grabbed a small bit of hair from the back of the head that was already cut, using that as our new section guide. You can see at the top of my fingers, that's where the guide is. Working down towards the ear, and as I get down towards the ear, I'm working with over direction to preserve length so we can have exaggerated sideburns for a more creative look. And as you can see now, the weight all matches up together, drops down towards the back, creating a concave shape. Now we're going to repeat the same process on this side, pulling a small section of hair down, introducing it into the new section, and using that as our section guide, so we can keep a consistent length all the way through the process. Now onto the top. We're going to connect the top to the back by using a central profile guide down the middle of the head, releasing the section clip, grooming the hair forward. We're going to make our first section. A good tip for this part of the cut is to use the eyebrows as a reference point. Use just about the width of the eyebrow as your reference for how wide the profile guide will be. Okay, now using the hair from the back of the head as my guide to cut my profile, I'm going to pull the hair up, see my guide, and make my first cut, slightly angled to the front of the head, leaving more length as we get to the front. Splitting my profile in half, pulling up the next section, visually seeing my guide, and making my next cut. Halving the section again, never fully releasing the hair from my fingers. That's going to help me stay organized and only grab the hair that I want to cut. Moving on to our last section of the profile, pulling the hair straight up, leaving more hair in the front of the head. On the vertical axis, we worked with triangular shape, shortest in the back, longer towards the front. Now we're going to work with horizontal subsections off of our profile guide, making sure the hair is thoroughly damp. Make our first section about a finger width in thickness, pulling the hair up straight from the head, using our profile guide as the guide for the length on the horizontal. Cutting straight across, not releasing the hair, holding it, picking up the next bit of hair, and pulling it again straight up from the head. So on the horizontal axis, we'll be working with a square shape. Pulling up straight from the head, all the way to the front. Now that that panel is complete, we work with the other panel. We're going to comb the hair down forward, split the hair slightly on the other side of the center of the head, pulling a little bit of the hair that was cut from the profile into our last section for the top. Again, working with horizontal sections, pulling the hair straight up from the head, creating a square silhouette for the top. Always being sure to see the hair that is our guide. This will create consistent haircut lengths throughout the whole process, and you will always know where you're at. The main reason why I chose to do a square shape up top was so we can preserve length towards the recession area of the forehead. That's going to allow us to be able to get very creative with the fringe. Now I'm pushing the hair forward just to see how it's going to lay, running my fingers through it, seeing the texture and movement. Now I'm getting ready for my fringe, so I'm going to section off the hair from the apex to the recession point of the hairline, using section clips to hold the hair back that I'm not going to be cutting for workspace cleanliness. Now with a curtain fringe, the hair is shortest in the middle and gets longer out towards the edges. So I'm going to work with a profile guide right down the center and designate my length for my shortest part of the bangs. Pulling the hair out vertically, I make my cut. Now I have my guide for both side panels. Working with our left panel first, we're going to groom the hair downward, and we can visually see the hair in the middle that's quite shorter than the hair on the side. Using a diagonal cutting line into the profile, I'm going to comb the hair away, and I'm going to start from the middle, pulling the hair to the other eyebrow, over directing the hair and making my first cut. As you can see, the hair actually needs to be cut shorter, so I pull up the hair again and make another cut across. The main goal in this part of the haircut is to have the hair shortest in the middle of the forehead and getting longer towards the ends of the eyebrows. What that does is the shorter hairs start pushing the longer hairs over towards the sides of the head, creating a curtain look. Splitting the hair down the middle again, ensuring that I can keep a clean workspace. Comb the hair over. I comb a little bit of the hair down from the middle as my guide, working off diagonal sections, over directing to the opposite eyebrow, and cut. I'm going to repeat this process all the way until there's no hair that falls over the fringe. Combing the hair down now, checking my work. As you can see, the hair starts to frame the eyes very nicely, shortest in the middle, and it gets longer out towards the edges. Now we're going to clean up the sideburns a little bit. Sectioning the hair at the recession point, combing the hair downward. We're going to use the Big Mag with the all-in-one blade all the way opened. We're going to grab the hair, find the point of disconnection, drag down, and cut. This is going to decrease the amount of disconnection while adding texture into the haircut. Now we're going to start working on the back, loosening up a little bit of the weight. Again, with the all-in-one blade adjusted all the way open, we're going to go about an inch up into the hair, dragging outward. That's going to break the hair up, allow it to sit very loose and natural, and still leaving all the length. Using the Wahl 1919 Matte Control Cream, I'm using that as a pre-blow dry applicant. Putting it thoroughly through all the wet hair, it's going to allow me to blow dry the hair and set it into place with a matte finish. Now, working with a headband to help enhance the overall shape and style, I'm going to place the headband around the back of the head right at the occipital bone, pulling the headband downward onto the fringe, styling the hair into the shape that I want to be when it's dried. The headband's going to help us create a concave shape, dipping in towards the side of the head and belling out towards the bottom, and also keeping the curtain fringe flat to the forehead. Putting the blow dryer on one heat, one air with the diffuser, I'm going to scrunch with my fingers and just put the blow dryer above the head. With this part of the styling, it's very important to go slower than faster. You want to be able to place the hair exactly where you want it to be when the hair is totally done being blow dried. Using my hands, scrunching the hair, pulling the hair up, creating a little bit more volume through the back, really showing off the shape that we created. Putting the blow dryer on the cool setting, I'm going to now set the hair into place, pulling up any bits to create a personalized look. Moving along into the back, I'm pulling the hair out that I thinned out with the all-in-one blade to show off the texture and those extended lengths. Now I'm going to remove the headband. Start to finalize the look.
Alright, that concludes the tutorial today, guys. Thanks for watching. Any questions, drop a comment below.